Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building this city of Mikelsfjord. And in the last episode, we tackled this section of the downtown here. And what we did was we added on to our previously built government district. And we over here use some of the more traditional classical buildings. And on the other side, we use some of the newer assets or newer looking assets, the intelligence agency. We've got our Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Silly Walks. We've done it all over here. And of course, it centers all around this United Arctic Nations. And it's become a really bustling area of the city. And you know, looking at the downtown, we're just about coming to the end of the downtown in this southern part of the highway. There's maybe another 2 builds. Today we're focusing on this area over here, and I notice a lot of cities, they have beautiful parks, and I think wouldn't it be wonderful to put in a fantastic Central Park, and that's what we're going to do today in this area. We're also going to put in a shopping area and use some of the shopping assets for that. So here we go. But you know, before we do this, I want to kind of take a look at Google Earth and see. This is the city of New York. This is specifically the island of Manhattan. And let's zoom in and see what they've done with their Central Park. You can see it takes up a lot of the downtown. Right, and this is a massive, massive city. We're not even going to get a map that's this big in City Skyline, but we do know that we can take some inspiration from this. So, what does New York Central Park have? Let's zoom in here and take a little look. So, I'm seeing there's a skating rink, playgrounds. We've got a ton of trees. Obviously, there's some open spaces, a meadow. Possibly a skate park. We've got fountains. We've got water. We've got hills. We've got monuments. You know, ponds, there's all kinds. There's an art gallery over here, and look at this, how many baseball diamonds are here. There's 8 over here. There's this massive reservoir in the middle here, and a few bigger buildings. There's a tennis courts over here, and more baseball. There's some soccer, I believe, and some things under construction, it looks like. I like this idea. You know, we've got paths running through. Looks like some roads here, probably for service vehicles. We're going to take some inspiration from New York Central Park, and we are going to see what we can do about sort of modeling it. Obviously, we're not going to be on this scale, but I do want to build a Central Park in our city of Mikelsfjord. So let's close this down so we're not running resources, and we've bounced around here. Let's see, where's our downtown? So we're going to fill up this space today and do a little bit of fixes on this highway intersection here, because it's getting hairy, even though we put in our beautiful new highway interchange on this side. Well, we're really freezing up here. We're bouncing around, so hopefully that doesn't continue. But you know what? Before we do anything over there, we're gonna need to make some changes, some fixes to the city, because I've been noticing that our electricity is bouncing up and down around into the yellow. I think that might have something to do with the temperature down here. It cools down at some points, and I believe that means people are using more heating for their homes. So I'm gonna do something really simple, nothing complex. We're just gonna pause. We're gonna delete this solar, and we're gonna put in another nuclear power plant. So that is essentially a quick fix. We can run the game again, and I'm also noticing that our water availability and sewage treatment is kind of at the limit here. So we're gonna add a few more of these eco-advanced inland water treatment plants, just so that I don't have to think about it. At some point, I do want to create a special district, special area for water treatment, but not today. It's not a today thing. So I like these because you can put them anywhere and they produce very little pollution, very little noise pollution, and they're eco-friendly in that regard. So we're not exactly, we don't have a ton of space here, so it's a little bit awkward, but I do think we just need one for now, and we'll get that connected, and then we'll get one of these large water towers in somewhere. Yeah, so now we've bumped our sewage treatment and our water availability up. At least we'll be fine for another couple episodes. And at some point I will probably tackle the utilities but that's a not a today thing. What else? While we're in this area, I do want to increase some pedestrian connectivity. I see that there's a real opportunity to help people who are walking go from this side and to the zoo as well. We've already got a few bridges. We might as well increase the pedestrian connectivity a little bit. And so I'm going to come over here to Volina. This is our high-tech, highly educated workforce population, and let's put in another zoo gate here so that people can cross over, and we'll also make a little bit more money from the tourists going to the zoo. Great, and I stuck a small parking lot in there as well, just so that people don't have to always take public transit, they can drive. All right, let's get the bridge in. And you know what, before we get the bridges in, I want to make sure we have all of our ferry lines exactly where we want them, because harder to redo these in the end. And so let's get our ferry pathways in here, because this will be an important part of our transportation network at some point. Again, not a today thing. Like that will work perfectly. And now we've got another way to get into the zoo, collect some more money, and actually connect pedestrians to eventually to downtown. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put in another little path network on this utility island over here. And I might need to just adjust a little bit of the terrain to give us space for that. Okay, great. Now we've got connectivity from the government area to this utility island and the Panda Sanctuary. Panda Sanctuary in turn connects to the subway here and the zoo, and we've got it connected to Volina. And I think maybe just one more. I'd actually like to see people walking these paths here. And so to encourage that, I think what we're gonna do is just send one of these red paths straight across, connecting around here. And yeah, that should do us well. Let's try that. Amazing, so we're gonna check that in a little bit. We've got a ton of people using these bridges, which I love to see. The parking lot here is almost full, that's great too. This city is hustling and bustling, it's got a good vibe, so we're increasing walkability, we've done something good, and when we create a neighborhood over here, we can also put maybe one more path for pedestrians, but yes, I'm happy. What's next? Great, so I wanna come back here to last episode's Jernväg Park. That's a railway park. This was the old rail corridor that's no longer in use because we have traded in the Grand Central Terminal for the Stavanger Central Station. But I do want to do one thing, which is to bump up the entertainment. I believe it's 11:20 that I need to get to level 5, and so the visitors are coming. We've got all our policies on to attract them in, but if we want this to go to level 5, and hey, why not? Let's do that. And you know what? Even this bridge maybe should change. It's a little bit rickety looking. It certainly doesn't look like it belongs in the downtown area, so I'm just gonna rebuild it with a different version. Great, so this is the American pedestrian bridge, and I really like the way that it's got these stone pillars here. Tried to take care to put them in the right spots, but yeah, it just looks a little more substantial, looks a little bit more like, you know, this is a wealthy city. We've got some cool wrought iron on here, and it's perfect for a park area. But we've also got to get some more entertainment value in here. We need to get it up to 11:20. And there's a fantastic way that I've thought we can do this, which is to put in some amenities on the waterfront here. And so we're gonna put some piers in. In order to do that, we need to expand our park district just a little bit up and down the quay wall here. I'm just gonna turn off the leisure overlay because I wanna actually see what I'm doing. So these they don't fit terribly well on the quay because it's so deep, but it does at least hang out over the water, which is what I wanted. So we're gonna put one right at the end here. And then we're gonna see where are the intersections. Let's put one over here. And I think we'll go with those, what is that, 6? That should do us well. How did we do for entertainment value? We've leveled up to 1033, so we're not quite where we need to be yet. but let's actually do a bit of work to connect this waterfront pathway to the actual quay wall, because people can walk on this. And in testing this, I found out that they really do love these piers, so it's going to be a hustling, bustling area. Let's give them a little bit more of a way to get in here. I think this one's already connected. You can see that it's made a connection there. Here it is not, so let's fix that. And it is highly lamentable that this changes the character of the pathway so much, but well, let's see if we can actually do that with, no, it just doesn't want to let me upgrade that, so we'll leave it be. What if we did the gravel? Yeah, it's just not letting me do anything about it, so we're gonna leave it alone and just deal with some of the oddities of playing in vanilla, right? And we've given them pathways to get to these piers, so we'll give it a second. I think we've already, look at this, we've already got people using this. They're loving it. Two whole tourists. I can see more than that, but that's fine. They are coming over here, so this is great. Now, we do need a bit more entertainment value, so I think what we're gonna do is make some space over here. We're gonna take this middle pathway out. That was the old railway track bed, but you know, things change, things get updated, so before I do anything else, I wanna put in a gate here. And you see it's not letting me place it on the pedestrian road, which is, you know, it's kind of silly given that, you know, it is a pedestrian park, but such is life, we're going to make it work. So I've stuck in one of these climbing frames here, and drum roll please, let's see if we've got to our 1120. Yep, we've just passed it, so this park now will be able to get to level 5 once we have the visitors for that level. So great, making good changes to the city. What's next? Oh yeah, so there's this plaza here, and I admit I did a very poor job on making it look actually passable. So it just needs a little love, and we're gonna put in some landscaping here really quickly. Great, so we've made this look a little bit more treed in. It's still, you know, open plaza in the middle, which is what we want, but we've got a little bit more shade. We've got some benches, the nice ones, and it's becoming a place. And I've put some medians and trees on these side roads here. It's looking quite rich. It's looking quite abundant and prosperous. So I'm loving it. What else can we do? I think we're good for tweaks. I think what we're gonna do now is get started on our Central Park. But there's something we need to do first, which is fix this road. I am concerned that it's just going to continue to back up, and then unless I deal with it now before I build around it, we're not going to have enough space to do anything about it. So what I'm thinking is to do the least path of least resistance. I don't want to go crazy and put in a roundabout here and destroy my beautiful little custom plaza here. But we will do something that's going to help these cars get out of here faster. I'm just going to check the junctions and see. We have a light over here, but not here. Well, that might be part of the problem, but we're going to fix this, and let's get started on that right now. So I've lowered the terrain by 9 meters in order to get some of all these roads underneath this cross section. So what I want to do is I want to ensure that my road can go across, because if everyone's forced to come from this side of town and go through this arterial here, it's going to be just crazy, and that's what we want to avoid. So what I'm going to do is ensure that when I build the roads back, the terrain doesn't lift back up, and I think the best way to do that is just get in a road across here, and that way when I build the roads from here downward, they're not going to raise the terrain back up. This will ensure that the terrain stays at 9 meters below the ground, and well, we're just going to see how it goes. Well, that was crazy. That was a mission, and I think it turned out. It only took what was that, 30 minutes I think off camera, but yeah, it works. So now we've got this, and all this to say we've got the road across here now, which is great. And we've given ourselves a toll booth here, which I'm hoping will actually discourage people driving into the central business district. This is something you see quite often in major cities. I know London, England, for example, has a bit of a toll that prevents people from just driving into the downtown. So it encourages public transit. And I'm hoping it'll do the same for us. And if not, at least we collect some money. So I'm also going to put a light here, and I think we're gonna put lights all the way along just so that we're managing traffic a little bit better. I don't think we need one here, but that should cover it for now. I wanna make sure there's no stops here, that's good. And we've continued our bike lane across the highway, and this is gonna connect right into our central park. What else do we need to do? We need water and power over here. It's gonna get there. I think what we'll do is we'll put a line right across here. Hopefully that takes care of at least a little bit of that. While we're here, I suppose, you know, we can put in some more residential. That would be, well, do we want to do that? Is this flat, first of all? I think we might have some terrain issues. It just looks a bit funny to my eyes. And let's check the contours real quick. Yeah, there's a bit of a dip here, so we'll fix that up. No idea why this little ridge exists. It's quite curious. I've never actually seen that happen before. Thankfully, we're not getting too much of the underworld stuff, the upside down stuff. It looks fine. But yeah, let's actually get in a little bit of zoning over here. And I just removed the zoning from this road here. The reason I've given it 6 lanes one way is because I want these cars to be able to fill up all the lanes. I think, you know, there's a node here and they're all trying to cross all the way across traffic. I do believe this is going to clear, but I did want to give them a little bit of more space to get around that. And you know what, we're just gonna fill this up with residential because we've got the demand, so let's do it. And what are we gonna do up here? We'll fill this area in a little bit, but let's start shaping out the park here. So that should do it. And now let's get in our park. I'm not going to bother clearing the trees because we're building parks, so that seems wrong. But here we go with the park. Here it is, Central Park, and I think this is probably the biggest asset in the game. I can't think of another one bigger at this point, but we're actually going to make a much bigger Central Park. And so I'm gonna do just a bit of the road layout here, and we'll start getting everything to fit together. Okay, so we have the basic layout for our new Central Park area and district. And speaking of districts, why don't we get that in now? And we're gonna do something fun with it. We're gonna use the Heart of Korea pack because I've noticed that especially the commercial buildings, they become really great tall towers. And so that's exactly what we want in the downtown area. We want to make sure that the height continues to sort of peter downward, and I think that'll be exactly perfect for what we're looking for. And the other thing I want to do is make sure we have a pedestrian area covering this little section over here because they need it. And I'm guessing that this little, yeah, the service point is barely using anything, so I don't think we need to worry about overloading it. Okay, so now what I've done is I've given ourselves 4 tiles from the railway, 4 tiles from the highway. We've got cars moving, well, pretty smoothly, but I think it could be a little smoother. So let's come in here and give them the policy of automated toll, because that's going to help them fly through the toll booths without stopping. It's also going to reduce income by 30%, but I think we can actually counteract that by coming in here and doubling the ticket price from $1 to $2 for cars, and doubling it for trucks as well. And how's it working? So it's not terrible. There is a bit of red here, of course, but things are moving. The lights are I think, working. There's a bit of a weird node issue happening here where everybody's trying to get into the same lane. I have no idea why. You know, that's certainly going to be fixed with the new AI in City Skylines 2, but we deal with what we have here, so I'm not at all worried about it. Now, last episode we had this beautiful railway park. It's a wonderful walking opportunity, but I don't want it to just dead end over here. I want it to actually continue, and so I'm going to put in a pathway that's going to jump right across all of these highways, and yeah, just make sure that we can do that. I'll put the last road in here. And you know, while I'm at this, I know it looks maybe like a crazy mess over here, but I would like for this road to continue under the highway and sort of become a back access to this community over here. So let's see how doable that in fact is. Okay, we're lucky to get across the highway here. Not sure we have the height everywhere to sneak under, but that can be fixed by going a little bit underground. And so let's see what we can do here. Yeah, okay, so it's not the prettiest road I've ever built, but it is interesting. And it's just that little extra bit of connectivity between 2 parts of the whole. And I've just dug a little trench in order to get low enough underneath the bridge there. So, and also noticing this is backing up a little bit. I'm not sure why all of a sudden now we've created a bit of a problem on this side. It's something we'll fix if and when the time comes. But as far as this goes, I'm happy for them all to pile up on this road. And I noticed I did break my gardens, so why don't we take a quick second to fix that up. So it's not as symmetrical and beautiful as it used to be, not as pointy, but you know, I can live with that. We're doing our best to make it beautiful while also ensuring that it is functional for traffic. So that's fine. I don't see them getting stuck at this toll booth here, which is exactly what we want. They're dispersing nicely out of the toll. Yeah, coming together. And these buildings will eventually level up. It's telling me, I'm sure, yes, educate more workers. So that's probably one of the first things that we'll put in here is some schools and other amenities that will help these areas level up. But let's take advantage of a few more little spaces here for residential. Now, before I got a little sidetracked, I was coming in here to do a little bit of path work. And what that means is we're going to put a path all the way from Central Park here over the highway and connect to Yarnvag Park over here. So let's take a second to do that now. Okay, I think we've got our pathways sorted out. That's enough pathways, but let's finish up these trees and let's sort of make it look like an integrated park. And for this, we're going to use one of the old trees, and I'm gonna try to match it exactly with what we've got in the Central Park asset. I think that's the one, so let's go ahead and fill this whole area in, and maybe we'll add some extras here and there from the new tree packs. But we'll make this look like it's all one cohesive park. All right, how do we do? So, obviously the actual Central Park asset has these built-in, I don't even know what kind of tree they're called, let's call them maples, and you know, it's highly unrealistic that we'd have only one kind of tree in an area. But hey, this is an aging game, and it's showing its age with this. But you know, I was able to sort of use mostly these light green trees, but add some live oaks and some redwoods, I think they're pines actually, and make it look like a cohesive park. So when we start zoning this in, it's gonna look like, you know, a bit like what we saw from New York City, from Manhattan Central Park. Obviously not on the same scale, but hey, it is a game, and I'm just one man, so doing what I can. But I think it looks great. I think it turned out, and I don't think I'm going to change a thing. But I will start zoning around it because, hey, this land would be extremely desirable. So we're going to start putting some people into it. And before I actually do that, let's get some of these, the railway protected from the residential. We'll get some fence along the railway corridor. Yeah, that looks good. It's gonna still leave me mostly 4 units of space along here. And we'll come and we'll protect the highway as well from this, with the fencing. And if I do need extra lanes for rail, I've got at least another 2, so who knows? This does look like it's getting a little bit hairy. I think it's time for a slight rebuild. I'm thinking maybe we use the airport cargo station because it does have 2 tracks, but I do want to keep this side of the track free for traffic that's going straight through and not stopping. So all right, and yeah, let's take a look at this park. I think it's looking phenomenal. We've got some water, we've got our volleyball, we've even got some gardens and the amphitheater, some tennis. We've got our path connecting us all the way to the government area on this side. So hey, you want to walk? This is a walkable city. We've got baseball, we've got some cafes next to the Ziggurat Garden. I thought this was an asset that just fit perfectly in here. When you look down this corridor, you're seeing that beautiful, tall, hanging garden in the middle. Yeah, fantastic asset. One of the older ones, I believe, but it is still pretty great, and hey, some people love it. Made this a walking area around it. I think bikes can still go through. I'm interested to know if we're getting some cycling traffic, and it looks like currently no, but there's also no zoning in this area, so we're gonna give it some time to actually to get some bikers through here. And we've got another pond and our tennis, so perfect. And I've tried to space them a little bit away from each other so we can get all the trees around, and it looks like a cohesive single park when it's really this asset and a bunch of other small things. So coming together. All right, and now we're moving away from the park and we're moving into some zoning. And what are we zoning? I want a shopping area, right? This is a downtown. Certainly we have a lot of commercial. It's mostly zoned commercial and office, apart from all the tall buildings, which are really tourist assets. But let's make it actually look and feel like a tour, like a shopping area on this side. So I'm going to use a couple of the assets that we have to make that possible. Let's take a try at that. This is the Mirae Department Store, and oh man, I just love it. It's part of the Heart of Korea pack, and while the light's not on the proper side, it does look absolutely stunning. You can see this in a very wealthy downtown commercial area. This is going to be our anchor department store in this area, and it's going to be the reason why people come downtown to shop. And we're not done yet. We're actually going to create a little bit of a walkable zone without using the shopping center's theme. I don't actually want to use any low-rise buildings, so we're not going to do that, but we will use, I believe, let me find this thing. Yeah, so we're under pedestrian area landmarks, and you'll notice I have everything unlocked because that's just how I started playing this map. But I think this will fit perfectly here. It's going to be the sort of the gateway into the department store. And you know, this is just it looks like food stalls. It's got some, you know, your meat and your cheeses and who knows what, peppers and fresh bird, I guess, maybe. But it's a pretty cool asset, and you know, even some donuts being advertised on top. So let's finish up with a little bit more pedestrian area, roads, and some zoning. I'm thinking, why not put some trees in here? Let's make it look good. And I wonder, can we do something fancy? Yeah, that certainly is an upgrade, although, you know, do we want that tree blocking the view? Who cares? It's fine. We'll leave it as is. And you know what? We might even continue this roadway on the other side so that we've got a sort of paralleling. I mean, we do have the space in this block, so I figure why not use that? We are breaking the power. I'm not sure it matters. Let's double check. Yeah, I should probably keep that connected just for now. And so, yeah, this is their anchor building, and we've got a little bit more walkability over here. I'm actually going to make sure that nothing can be zoned on this road, and so I'm going to have to go back and fix those trees. But I don't want any zoning coming off that side, just so I don't have to actually zone this a pedestrian area. These roads should function well just as is, and then we can zone the outside. Here we go. In fact, before I get the zoning in, I'm just gonna get some of our services, our amenities in, because I don't wanna zone and then have to delete something. So the first thing I'm getting in here is the high capacity high school. I'm putting it adjacent to the park so that these students actually have a place to go and relax on their breaks, and that I don't have to create additional park land for them or additional recreational uses for them. And we'll actually try to do the same with the elementary school. Let's get that in as well. So I'm keeping this central. I'm keeping it on the collector road so that there's good access to it. Yeah, I don't want it to be kind of right in the downtown because it's not that high density. It's not got that much height. So we're gonna try and keep all the higher density uses toward this downtown. And yeah, it's looking good. And let's finish up this road here. So next we're getting in the elder care and the child care. Just want to make sure this area is blanketed. These services do help buildings level up and increase land values. While we're in this area, we'll create a little service pocket with a post office, so that's covered. We're gonna need some fire coverage and possibly even police. Got a couple plazas in here would also jazz up the place, but you know what, I'm rethinking this fountain one, and we're gonna stick with the one that has the purple tree. I think that's a jacaranda. Yes, now we have some symmetry again, and it's looking good. What other services do we need? I'm thinking we do not need any health care. We're blanketed with this massive hospital over here, which has only, well, 27 ambulances in use. I suppose we're getting there. Patients are negligible, but we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not going to put in another clinic or anything like that, but I do want to put in some death care, and the cryopreservatory seems like the best thing to do for that. We're certainly getting no coverage on this side, so let's stick one at the end here. And you'll notice I'm leaving this corridor clear because I'm wondering if perhaps one day we'll go underground here and connect up with this as well. And you know what, while I'm here, I just want to make one little connection. Another challenge I'm seeing, of course, is the traffic in Auxjack farmland, and so yeah, this is even getting more nightmarish. So while we're here, let's do some Band-Aid solutions, and oh, I was gonna think to double lane this, but it already is double lane. So they're backing up all trying to go where? Let's check this for a second. There's just a little bit of a quick troubleshooting detour here. They're all private cars coming into downtown, okay. And of course trucks turning right, but I don't really see many trucks. So it's the left turn lane that's giving me problems here. And what are you gonna do? Well, let's see, can we 4-lane this? That's not a permanent solution, but it certainly helps. And I wonder, how are our junctions? Yeah, we're gonna need a light there. We're gonna give them a little bit of help. Might as well, no, we're fine. Okay, so let's see if that improves the situation at all. You know, actually while we're here, let's get a light on here and here. These are lights, that's fine. That's fine, actually we're gonna let this flow. Okay, enough messing with the farmland. We'll get back to that at some point. But you know, we've got some of our amenities coming in, some of our services, but we don't have a library yet. And you know, there isn't really a library asset that is tall and fitting for a downtown. So rather than put this bad boy in here, which takes up a lot of real estate and is trouble to fit in, let's use just the smallest historical library. What is this? This is a elementary, and we've got the high school. These are the Africa and miniature packs. National Library. I don't believe that's actually a library. It looks like an entertainment / tourist building. Yeah, we're gonna just put in a small historical library. We're gonna sneak it. Where can we sneak this? That's a perfect spot. We're not taking up any extra zoning. And what else? We've got our death care. Let me look at my list. Let's sneak one more park in there, Japanese garden, to give us a little bit more park love in here. And we've got our elementary high school library. You know, why not a university in the way of the faculty? It takes up very little space. And that will help some of these residential buildings that we're about to put in here level up. We've got our elder care, child care. We've got fire and police, cryopreservatory, and post office. Ah, yes, I know what's missing. I want a subway line in this area. And before I start zoning it in, let's put the subway. So we'll come over here, and I want to use this very small parallel underground metro station. There's a reason I 45-degree angled this set of stations, and that's because I think this is going to fit perfectly in here somewhere. Where? That's fine right there. And now let's do a bit of work underground to connect some of these lines here. So you might say that these lines are very parallel and almost doing double duty, but yeah, I wouldn't argue with you. It's just that I think this is going to be a very, very busy area, and I don't think it hurts to have the stations this close in the downtown area. I've been told, and my experience bears this out, that if you have a station that's 50 tiles away from each other, you're fine. So I think these are about 50. This one's serving the financial district. These two will serve the end of this residential and shopping district, and then this can continue along out this way, and one of these tracks can carry on in this direction, and then we're gonna have the next one curve underground here, and probably we'll turn this into a cross station. So I will have to go underground, however. So let's pop this to the lowest elevation step and go down 1, 2, 3. See if that's, yeah, that's perfectly enough to get ourselves underground. So let's just reminder. That's a reminder for ourselves for next time. And then let's connect those lines and just pull them across here. All right, we reattached those stops to those stations, and we're serving our community with more trains. And did we forget anything else? I think it's just about time to start zoning things in. But this roundabout to me is looking a little bit sad and a little bit lonely. So let's just do a little bit of detailing over here and see if we can have some fun with it. Yeah, I think that looks much improved. I like the way that that fits. We've got this similar statue at the other entrance to downtown coming off the highway. Yeah, pretty cool. And what else can we add here? There is one little thing that I had destroyed before, which I want to put back, and that's the city arch, which increases the tourist capacity of roads by 5%. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm hoping that it will actually give us a little bit more, less traffic actually is what I'm trying to say. But you know, in order to get that there, we've got to get rid of the zoning on the roundabout, which we certainly don't want. So I'll come in here, I'll find my 3 lanes. I will turn zoning off both sides. I think I want both sides, yeah? Yeah, I think that's gonna work out just fine. We'll get the zoning back onto the to the straight roads. Good, we've done a good thing there. And now I think I should be able to get that archway in here. Check, how does it look? Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. You know, maybe not the most grand entrance to the city, but this is the side entrance, so that's fine. And before I forget and I do something crazy, I'm gonna turn my zoning for roads back on. And you know, while I'm over here, let's zone in some more. This is the last piece of the financial district that I did not zone in. And I think, yes, I can delete this power line now. And let's finish this area up. So given that this is part of the financial district, I do want to have mostly office in here. Now, our office demand is negligible as usual because we have so much unfulfilled industry space, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. And it's gonna fill in eventually. We're just not gonna worry about it. Now, this road is looking a bit sad also. It's busy, but it's not that busy. And yes, we're babysitting a dog, which is why you're hearing the barking in the background. But let's upgrade this road, or possibly downgrade it. I think we'll leave it as a 6 lane, but we will put some trees on it so that it looks a little bit more snazzy. Okay, great. I think we're at the point where we can start zoning, yes? Yes, so what I'm gonna do, have I painted this district yet? I need to refresh my memory here. We have, and Evergreen Heights is a no-go. So just for now, we'll call this Central Park to remind us what this is. But if you have a name, please let us know in the comments. Let me know what you think it might be. This is, of course, a Nordic build where names come from the Scandinavian region, the Baltics, North Sea, things like that. So for now, we'll put it like this, and we want this to be Heart of Korea. Because as I mentioned, I love those tall commercial towers, and we're gonna do a mix. What I don't love is if we were to zone this whole corridor, this whole area, for example, we'd get all the same building. I think there's only one 4x4 Heart of Korea building, and there's only one 3x3, and there's only one 2x3, right? So I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna intersperse some residential in here as well, maybe even do a little bit of office buildings, but I want to go not so hard with the uniformity, and we want to change it up a little bit. So here we go. I do know that on this side I want pure residential, so we're going to go all the way up and forget about anything else. Well, maybe we'll put a couple little commercial buildings back here, but really I can't see a huge need. We might put 1 or 2 little office towers in here and keep the rest of it pretty much residential. And as I said, I'm gonna leave this as a road corridor, road allowance I think they call it, and we'll just see what else we can do in this area. We have absolutely demolished demand for everything in this area, so I'm gonna let it run for a few minutes and see what happens. And while I do that, I'm gonna check on some of our services and make sure we're covered for everything we need. Just noticing some issues over here. I'm not sure why this is broken, but let's fix the park area. Yeah, something happened. I'm not sure what did that. It's funny, that happened in my test build as well, so no idea what's going on there. And those should be happy. While we're over here, let's look at how we're doing for interest and walking on the boardwalk here. So pretty good, healthy amount of tourists. I don't actually see anyone walking. There's some people. So they are using them. Those were broken for a second, so it looks like there's way more activity here. I do love seeing this. Look at this. We've got people using the waterfront, and it's not insignificant. There's a number of people using it. And I think just adding these little park piers really help because they are a draw for tourists. And how are we doing with people walking through the government gardens? It looks like now they're actually using these paths because of the work we did at the beginning of this episode by installing some bridges to cross over to this zoo area. We've got a very healthy zoo traffic. And how's our new entrance over here? It's jumping. Look at this. We've got enough people, and I mean, some of these are probably going to the zoo. Bison, lion. Okay, so yeah, some are going to the zoo, some are not. Some are probably heading right across, but it is mostly zoo traffic, so that's good. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's pretty much hardly anybody, which is fine, but I'm curious to know if anyone's actually going across. Where is that? That is, whoa, that is way across town. So that person is actually doing quite a walk, unless they're going to jump on some public transit. And how about this bridge here? Yeah, same thing. It's being used, right? So I love to see this. I love to create a walkable city. People are using it, and probably this has expanded the usage of this subway line as well. That's great. We've got our new water tower in here. I think it's a fitting area for that. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay, and anything else we need to look at while we're over here? I think we've definitely fixed up this plaza. It's looking a lot better as it's being used. Let's see how is our zoning doing. Things are coming in. Now these buildings, it's going to take them a while to level up because we know that the citizens have to be educated first. If we hover over this, we can see educate more citizens. And how can we do that? Well, we've installed all of the services for education. It's just going to take some time, right? And I'm going to run it at top speed, and hopefully that will give us a little bit of time to see. Yeah, we are seeing this. Buildings are coming in. We've got these are what I was going for with the Heart of Korea pack. The tallest towers, also a tall tower. Some of these smaller ones, they look really cool as well. I like this guy over here, shorter, smaller, but definitely beautiful. And a lot of these buildings are going to level up. I've tried to intersperse them so that we didn't get too much of this, like 3 identical ones in a row. But you can see that, and let's just change the lighting here so we can see the faces of the building. You can see what I'm attempting here is to, again, break the height down or taper the height down a little bit. So it's, it's going to be about this height across the Central Park area. And then I'm thinking on the other side of this highway, we're going to create a lower density, well, still high density, but lower height area using the Brooklyn Queens pack. This farmland is struggling to fill workers. It's short about, well, almost 1,000 workers here. And that's problematic because it could be producing a lot more. It could be a lot more efficient. And you'll notice even some of these are saying not enough raw materials. Why is that? Well, let's look at the barns. We have several of them. They're full of crops. There should be no shortage of crops for these slaughterhouses, etc. But I believe that there's just not enough employees to cart the materials around. So we've got to address this in maybe the next episode, maybe a later episode. But it is coming. How are we doing for demand? Very, very low. However, I do want a little bit of visual diversity, so I will zone just a few office zones of different sizes. And this will be the, I don't know if Heart of Korea has its own office buildings, but let's find out, I guess, right? Let's Going to take some time for that to zone in. We see from our financial district here, we still don't have all of the buildings. They haven't popped up yet. I know it's coming. I've let this run for hours and it does fill in. But we just got to get some more demand for this area. So at this point, I think, you know, what are we gonna do? Why don't we just let this run for a little bit? I'm gonna give it, say, 5-10 minutes and see if some of the, especially the residential back here, zones in. We're on the top speed, and you know, I guess while we're waiting, we could look at some of the transit lines. And so, yeah, I like that idea. We're changing the face of this city every time we add new buildings, and so we want to make sure that our transit network is keeping up. At some point, we might actually need to go and go line by line through the whole city, but at this point, I think we're okay. Let's start with the downtown loop here. Big pass-ups over here. This is this is on Tropicana, the ferry line. So any more pass-ups? It's pretty busy, but only there, I suppose. Well, in here too. What station is this? Okay, that's the other bus/ferry depot. Let's just add a couple more vehicles on this line. The next one I want to check is the one we set up last episode, which is the government line running up the coast there. This one, it's mainly empty all of a sudden. It was very, very busy previously, but it's certainly not anymore. It is saving 100% of car trips, which is great. So it's important, but it's over capacity, and I don't think we're gonna have any more ridership. I don't expect any more. So we'll pull this down to 7 buses, 75% funding. I think we're done for buses, but let's look at the trams, and we'll just filter by name. Arc Park. This is no longer an AB line. There's no counterclockwise, clockwise, so it's just the one. We'll rename it. How are we doing over here? These are the smallest trams, and I'm okay with this. We can leave that as is. And let's check the red line, which is the downtown loop A and B. It's certainly being utilized. It doesn't need to be adjusted. This one, we're looking at just a few pass-ups. I think we maybe add, it's really only that one stop, but let's add another 2 vehicles. And we'll check the one that we created last episode, which is the government to Fjellesen, that north-south line. And oh, this is a lot less busy than I thought it would be. Some of these are only maybe 10%, 5% full. It's not that popular. So, you know, rather than reduce the number of vehicles, let's actually see if we just find something that makes a little bit more sense. Are any of these trams more full than 70? No. So we can mix this up a little bit. Let's go with the 70 capacity tram. It's gonna just send all of those back to the depot. No other trams that we need to worry about for now. Let's look at our subway quickly. Stavanger West, this is our blue line. That's performing admirably. It's actually over capacity, so we don't need 200%. We're gonna move this down to 4 vehicles. I think that might have been a legacy from when that line was doing something different. Tropicana, this is the north-south through the middle of downtown. Ooh, yeah, it's passing. It's definitely passing. This stop here at the Eiffel Tower, or the Arc de Triomphe rather, has become very busy. Do we add more, or do we increase capacity? I think we increase capacity because it's not a long line. It's only, you know, a couple kilometers, I believe, 6.5. Let's switch this over to something with maybe double that capacity, or maybe 240. Green line east-west, we haven't been messing with that lately, but let's just check it anyway while we're doing this work. 100 there, 45, 141. So this station, where are we here? We are in Fjellesen, and we're going east-west. So of course, now that we've added 2 lines, this has become an even more important transit hub. We've added the bus and the streetcar, new streetcar. So yeah, more people are coming through here, and we're probably going to want to add some capacity on this line. You know, some of the ones out in the hinterland are not being used that much, but rather than put, I think, more cars on. We'll just give them a little bit more capacity, and we'll go, again, 240 seems reasonable. Starbury North, the white line. This one's full, passing up again. Okay, so yeah, UAN Square, where we worked on last episode. I'm happy to see this is a bustling, thriving area. Again, we'll add some capacity. Let's change it up. Instead, maybe we'll do the 250, and that'll be fun. Last line, downtown cross, the purple line. It's looking just fine. Yeah, it's got room to grow, so I think we'll just leave that one alone. What's left? The trains. I'm not worried about the trains, but you know, there is something I wanted to do. These are very long lines. These are almost 18 kilometers for this one, and this is actually almost full. Isn't that interesting? It's you know, some of the others are not, so I'm not worried about that. But rather than have the regular old vanilla train with 240, let's put it a bullet train. I believe these travel faster. At least we can use our imagination. And let's see how it performs. And let's do the same with the Stavanger Nordved. This is the north-south line going basically from downtown to the end of the map. So let's see how it's doing. There's a little bit of a bug there, but it doesn't look like many people. 45 on that train, 28. Very, very, okay, there's one train that's sort of more than half capacity, but let's leave it at that, and we'll put it onto a bullet train. Yeah, I love tweaking this stuff. It just, for me, this is fun. I'm not gonna mess with the ferries. That's something for another day. How's our helicopter doing? This is from the Doomsday episode. We've got a full one here. Let's add one more helicopter and leave it there. And last thing we'll do is the monorails. So that is, I believe, yeah, that's the largest capacity. It's carrying a lot of traffic. Yeah, and oh, look at this, the airport. Oh my gosh, yeah, we've had so many more tourists coming into town. These are full, and so we need, oh my gosh, how many are we gonna need here? So again, it's mostly people coming from the airport to downtown, but we still need to do something to address this. So I'm gonna actually bring this up to, let's go to 11. We'll add 3 cars at 240. That's another 600, 720 capacity. It might be overkill, but I think we'll leave it there. And then this one, I'm guessing, is not that busy given the traffic on it. So, you know, we went with the lowest capacity monorail, which was a good call, and we've gone 50%. So, yep, it's performing just fine. Room to grow, but nothing necessary. Are there any other lines we need to look at? No, we're golden. So, you know, I think one of the best parts of this game is the transit and seeing all the people using the lines that you've created. Isn't that amazing? I love bringing people from one place to another, and you can see when we turn on our transportation overview, we've got a lot of things happening. We've got connectivity between all these different communities. You know, the buses taking people to some of the more central, like subway, high capacity lines, and then trains and subways bringing people around the map. And we're talking like, this train line goes all the way up north here into Nordved. And so I just love the way this works. You know, we're utilizing this station here, again, one of my favorites. 800 passengers per week. If we bounce over to New Kiev, we've got this station with lots of room to grow. Only 287, but I was thinking it would make a lot of sense to turn this into a intercity train terminal. Not today, we're gonna do that another time, but just to allow more tourists to get into the city, because right now our only way for people to get into town on the train is this downtown station. It's surprisingly low, the amount of traffic coming out of here, but we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so how do we do? We've got most of our zoning filling in. We still have interestingly a demand for more commercial, so I'm just gonna go and fill a few more of these spaces that I've left. I left myself some room to grow, and just to watch what actually is needed. And I think it's commercial. It's obvious that there's a demand for that. So hate to do it kind of this close, but I also want to keep a lot of the density or the concentration of commercial by this arterial, keep the noise away from the residential, which is more in the back here. So I think we're doing a good thing. All right, what else do we have left to do? I think that's it for today. How do we do on the traffic? Well, they're not getting bogged down backing up onto the highway, which is exactly what we're going for. So I'm gonna say mission accomplished there. We have started charging these people a toll. We're gonna make a little bit of money. I don't think it's anything to write home about. If we look at our road tolls, we're making a grand total of 511 from, I think we have 4 toll booths in the city, so it's really negligible. But you know what? It's flowing. I don't see anyone getting stuck. Sure, it's hairy here, but this is our downtown. It's not supposed to be ghost town. It's not supposed to be empty roads. And we'll keep an eye on it. If we do need to do something better than this, we'll do it. Whether that's a roundabout or something else. But I think we have done a good thing. Anything else? So there we have it, friends. This is our new Central Park district. And let's get in real close here. So, you know, you come down this road and you see, it's opening up into this vast expanse of green, right? I love ending corridors with something special, and we've done that here. And then you've got your ponds. We've got all types of different sports. We've got this beautiful Ziggurat Garden here, which I think fits perfectly. It is in a pedestrian area, so I'm not sure. Let's check the usage of the cyclists again. I definitely like encouraging cycling, but I'm not sure we're gonna see much of that. If we turn a little bit of this stuff off, do we see any cyclists? No, not yet, but oh, okay, there we go. Yes, so interesting. Okay, so they're actually stopping. They're not going all the way through this pedestrian zone, which is, it boggles my mind. Nobody's actually biking through here, which, oh, maybe they are. Okay, so they're just doing what they want. They're using the paths in the park. That's exactly what you would expect in a city like this. We've got great path connectivity all the way over to the government district. We've got you know, a nice mix of uses here, and I think it's looking really great. I think it's turned out very well. We've got all the amenities that we need, all the services. We've got this little shopping area developing here that lands in this beautiful Mirae building from the Heart of Korea pack. Yep, it couldn't have turned out better in my mind. What do you think? If you have a comment, good or bad, let me know in the YouTube comments. And you know, obviously, if you're enjoying this, drop me a like, because it definitely encourages me to keep going, and it helps to increase the reach of the channel. You know, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when I do release a new video, which I'm committing to do 1 or 2 a month, right up until October 25th when we get City Skylines 2, then I'll be, you know, I've got a couple days booked off from work. I will be spending some time getting a video out as soon as possible. I want to start with a bang. So, but until then, I'm continuing with Mikelsfjord. I just love this this build. It's my therapy. It's my joy. It's a way to share with you. So. Definitely appreciate your support for the channel. Thanks very much for watching. I know you could be doing a lot of other things with your day, your evening, your morning, but I really appreciate you spending it with me. And thanks so much for your comments and for your support on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Have a great night.